Hi guys, how are you doing? I'm going to practice my screencasting skills a little, and in this video I'll keep the webcam on. As a non-native speaker, being spontaneous in the English language is not very easy for me, and I'm very envious of other YouTubers which have that ability. So I'm going to practice it a bit. In this video we'll work on the image node. Since the previous video, I've restructured the project a bit, so the F# one is in its own separate project, and the Helix one is also separate. Previously they were flattened in the same solution by error, and I fixed that. We have the image component here, and we have the text component from the previous video. I haven't done any work in the image component yet, I just copy-pasted what is in the text component into the image component. I haven't even added the option in the context menu for it. The goal for this video will be to make an image node. It won't be anything too complicated. It will be similar to the text node, except it will just have a button to load images, or maybe we'll make it so that clicking on the card itself opens up a modal window that will allow us to load an image from the hard drive. Once we do that basic thing, we'll be able to refine it further, so it loads images from the internet. In our previous video, we converted the LIDAC project that we've been working on since the start of the playlist to Blazor. We learned many lessons along the way, and hopefully I'll be able to remember them and mention them as we go along. Blazor is still very beta quality in some places, so I'll help steer you away from those areas. You could always just watch the video and find out yourselves, but I doubt many of you would be willing to do that. Well, it doesn't really matter. We'll learn everything we need along the way. Let's get started. Right now, even I myself don't really know how to use MadBlazor to load the images. MadBlazor has image components, so we'll start by checking it out. We'll get rid of the text here. Okay, I opened the website of MadBlazor, and here we are in its documentation. It should have an image here somewhere. Oh, here it is. Image. It has the code at the bottom, as usual. It has the sizes, responsive images. This is pretty cool. We'll make the image node a resizable one eventually. But for now we'll just start with the most basic one. We got rid of the text field. We'll just paste it here. Let's put some images in the web root. We'll have a directory. Then I'll find some images that we can use. I have plenty of them on my hard drive. I downloaded a bit some. Yesterday I generated some images in Stable Diffusion. I'll have them for my hard drive, on my hard drive. Oh, here they are. These ones are really big. So let's go with this. We'll copy them, paste them. We'll rename it to something easier. Oh, this is the text component. We need the image component. It should be some PNG. We'll leave the class as this. Then what we have to do is link this node to the Blazor diagrams component. In the diagram trial. Oh, now where this? This is from the last time I tried making a video. The text remained. I had to pause a bit to remind myself where everything is. I was so focused on the Lidak project, so I myself have forgotten where the things are. Okay, this will be just the image component, and then this should be image node, which we don't have. We'll put it where the other nodes are. This is in Helix fun. We should be passing it. We should be passing it a point. It won't have any properties for now. Now let's go back to this. The type error goes away. Oh, now we have to add we have to implement. I mean, we just have to add an option in the context menu so we can add the node. And now where is the context menu? It's in the render body of the diagram trial page. We have the context menu items here. We'll just add the one for the images. On click, add image node. Then we'll implement it. We'll use the editor to help us do that. Oh, now what are these new compilation nodes? I see. We'll implement one for the images. Let's put it up here, since it will have both the input and the output ports, much like the text node. It doesn't have any properties yet. I'll make this point P. It needs to be the image node. Oh, that's good enough for now. Now we can try it out. Oh no, it won't work here. Instead we have to go into the Helix folder. Now we'll run it in watch mode. We'll get rid of these hello world pages later. For now, Let's see if everything works. The text node works, the image node. Oh, we got some kind of an exception. Let's see what it says in the console. Yeah, it doesn't have the property node. I think I forgot to add that. Node. Oh yeah, it's the wrong type. We'll save and it should recompile it. I just have to press A. We'll have to get rid of these errors as well. Compilation component. Let's just what a use variable. 79. Oh, I see. Text and image component must contain nulls. Let's get rid of these null warnings as well. Yeah. Let me show you something. Actually, I can't show it to you on this. But in the previous project, when I was converting the LIDAC to Blazor from Fable, I had trouble getting the properties to show up in the editor. As it happens, we need to do two things for that to work. We need to first add an editor required attribute. Then instead of init, we need to have set here. And this will make it work much better. Let's also put in the required. And the error, the warning didn't go away yet. No, actually I'm being retarded. It did go away for the compilation node. The place where it happens is for these other ones. We don't... this editor required is only helpful when you are when you are using a component in the Blazor render body, like not in the code segment, but in this HTML segment. Without this attribute, you won't get the IntelliSense support for it, but with it you will. Let's just let's just put the required on the other node, and the editor required. This attribute should be on by default for every parameter. I don't know why it isn't. It's set. Everything is set. Now, if we recompile it, all the nullable warnings go away. Now what we'll do is figure out why we are getting that error for the image node. Sorry for the detour, I just wanted to do this because it's annoying to see it every time in the terminal. And we actually already fixed that. The problem was that that the image node was of the wrong type. If we go back, you'll see that the image appears now. If we push it to the right, it will resize itself dynamically. Why is it resizing like this? I have no idea. Maybe it's not for these particular nodes. It's not a good idea to resize the UI so it's not a good idea to design the nodes so they are resizable. It would cause a mess. So we'll make it fixed after all. Let's just fit the image. Image fit. None. Cover. Contain. Fill. Scale down. What's the difference between contain and scale down? I'm not sure. We'll use contain. Click. Set image. Object fit contain. Okay, object fit contain. It's pretty big. Maybe we should give it a width and a height. Let's just make an image node class. Image node will style it. Let's make it 400 and height also 400. We'll get back to this later and style it properly. For now, I just want something. If we, for example, change the height to 200, oh damn. If you look, the node is size 200, but the image isn't scaling to fit the parent. Oh, how could that happen? Let's try placing the image node on the parent. On the, the image node CSS property on the mad image component. If you try doing that. I'm not sure why the hot reloading is not working properly, but it isn't. Excellent. If we try making it bigger, like 400. Yeah, now it's fitting inside. But it's a bit... this should be square, but the image is flat. And they... yeah. These are 768 by 432 pixels. The images are simply like that. We could try using some bigger image. Let's do it. Let's do something like this one. I'll just erase this. Where are we? Image component. Yes, Sunbeak. Let's make it a bit wider. Not bad. Not bad at all. It's bigger than the text component, but maybe that wouldn't be bad design. Now, I think I understand what object width contain and object width scale down mean. I'm guessing that contain it wasn't obvious on the examples previously. They ended up being the same thing, but the contain probably just rescales the image so it fits the MUD image container, but scale down only scales it down. We'll use scale down. No, actually, let's contain it. Contain is the best. Contain. Now let's think what we have to do next. First, I just want to make a note that the code reload is broken with Blazor when using F# projects. I'll reference this issue for you here. It's a regression that since .NET 7, and it still hasn't been fixed. I've asked where the workaround should be put, and I'll get an answer for that later. We need to put that. We'll have to put this somewhere. I'm not sure where right now. This should be This should be C# code. For now, we just limp along. As I said, the Blazor is better quality in places. I ran into many weird errors when I was converting the Lidaka project to Blazor. And some of the programming best practices aren't simply best practices anymore because of that. For example, in the render fragments, the type errors don't show up in the exactly where you could see them in the editor, but in the generated code. By the render fragments, I mean this. Usually, I like abstracting pieces of duplicate functionality like this into functions, or okay, these are methods. These are called methods in C#. And this thing in particular, this led to so many. This took me like an hour to figure out. For example, this needs to be a decimal nullable value. If I remove this, no type error will happen, but we'll get a type error during compilation in some very weird place. It took me quite a lot of time to figure that out, but had I not abstracted this into its own separate method, but simply pasted it here, the type error would have probably appeared in the IDE where it should. So this is something to keep in mind. I took a break just now, so let us resume. I got an answer on the question of how to fix the hot module reloading bug. Unfortunately, I'll show you the answer. In order to add that code to wherever this should be, we need to get the .NET Watch repo and then edit it and recompile it. That would be way too much work for what we want to do. So we'll stick with what we have for now. Maybe in the future we'll consider going back to .NET 6 or whatever. Let's forget that. What should we do next? Well, we added the image node, so the next step, we can either make it so we can load the image from the hard drive. I mean, so it opens something like a menu, like a modal window where we can select the files and load them like that, instead of having it hard-coded like this. Or we can work on compilation. It doesn't matter which order we pick, but I want to work on compilation, so let's do that. Here we get the order nodes. Okay, then in on the C# and where is this called? Where is this used? It's used here. Right here. We just pass it the starting node, get the ordered nodes back, and then we iterate over them, selecting the text nodes. But instead of returning a bunch of strings, what we should do is return razor components. We'll make a page out of text box, and the images. That's actually pretty simple. We'll do it right now. Okay, we'll open we'll return a razor fragment here. Return. Okay, let's something like a div. We don't need to be too fancy at this point. Then node text, and we get an error because because of this thing here. Render fragment. We'll turn this into a render fragment. Now it will return. And now I don't think it knows which error, Yeah, we need to return it in an array. Okay, render fragment array. Something like this. Would this work? I'm not sure how to organize it. The razor can have a bit of a weird syntax. Not like this. Okay, you know, we'll factor this out into its own function. Factor this out. Okay. On string text. We'll just move this up. I'm pressing Ctrl Alt Enter to format the whole document. That's how it indents it. Okay, now we can return new render fragment. Alright. Yes. We need to do it like this. Oh, great. Now image node. Yeah, this is what I meant when I said that C# is not a very good language. Despite Node shouldn't being in scope, it complains. Okay, we'll rename this to something like text node. Image node. Thank you, Rider Renamer. Now, okay, on compile image. We'll leave this empty right now. Oh, they have to put it at the end. Let's put it here. Okay, what we have to do next is figure out how to pass an image argument. For now, it's kind of yeah. We should be passing a path to either on the hard drive or a URL. So we'll make it a string for now. String path. Later we'll figure out how to do the URLs. Then we'll return some kind of. Why not use mad image? There's no reason not to do this. Maybe if we. Okay, in a later part of the series, maybe I'll want to make some static HTML, which I can post to sites like Royal Road, or a Scribble Hub, or Creative Novels, or whatever free fiction site is there. But for now, we want to focus what we can see directly in the app we are running. So the mud image here is good. We'll object fit contain fill none. We don't need an object fit. The image can be as big as it wants to be. No, but we do need to pass in a path. This is source path. I think, yeah, we need that at sign in order to interpolate the variable. Great. Maybe we'll make alt image. No, that's stupid. Let's just leave it out. Okay. Now, well, let's edit the image node. The image node should have a path. Okay, member wall. That's these member walls are F# style properties with getters and setters. The annoying thing, I mean, it's a very good design. I like it. So I shouldn't be complaining that it doesn't work with Entity Framework Core. Just forget I said anything. Okay. Let's make it source. Source. Now. Okay, we have the image node. Point source. Image node. src. Everything here. No, I have. What's this? Oh yeah, in the compilation node we are using text here, but it should be a render fragment. So I'm guessing for a render fragment, yeah, it should be render fragment. It should be null. The default render fragment should be null. I don't think in R# we can put init here. Yeah, we can't. And instead of text, it should be child components. Or should it be singular? Okay, child component. I think it should be singular. I'm not completely sure. Now let's go back to the compilation component. I'm changing my mind. Let's make it a child component array. I mean, a render fragment array. But an array shouldn't be null. We'll make it array. No. Why are we using those kinds of functions? It should be this, exactly this. I mean, programming C# previously rotted my mind. Now, child component. I mean, don't need the text. Enumerable. I should just, yeah. Why don't we make it an enumerable? We'll make it as straightforward as possible. Enumerable, and this can remain as an array. There's no problem with that. An array has an enumerable interface. Does it not need It seems it doesn't need a type annotation here for some reason. Maybe if we put something like... No, we won't do anything. This is fine. We still have a type error. Where is that? Can't resolve simple text. Mod the text field. Oh yeah. Yeah, we're using the text field for the compilation output, but yeah, we'll get rid of all of this. We don't need it, and then we'll put in the child components here. It should be node child component. Will this work as it should? Actually, I don't think it would work just like that. We need for each. And then var x in node child component. I mean, I have some experience now from the LIDAC, from where I converted the LIDAC project to Blazor. So I know that I previously tried passing in something like an enumerable on an array just like this, and it didn't work. And this is a long-winded way of writing it, but it should do. Now, yes. In the future, we'll turn these into... I mean, we won't just call methods directly, but we'll use something like an interface to compile this to something sensible. Or maybe we'll use union types on the F# side and then map over them. Not a big problem for now. I think we can give it a try. Is there any problem? And hitting Ctrl R, nothing is happening. Let's just exit here and we'll run it again. I want to understand what's going on. Compilation node does not contain a definition for text. Just as it says. Hang on trial. Where is the... yeah. Child component. Yeah, we don't need to pass this property here. We'll connect these two nodes, compile it, and get ASD. Maybe it needs a bit of a gap here. Now, if I could only find my mirror. And this isn't even the right project. We'll put... what is it? Is it a break? I think maybe it's a break on... I wonder what the HTML element for that horizontal bar is. Is it TR? Let's check it out. We'll try it out one by one. It's asking me whether I want to restart. Yes, I do. I mean, the hot module reloading doesn't even work, and it's asking me whether I want to recompile. How stupid of it. Oh yeah, this is much better. Now it has a bit of space. The image is big. I will zoom out. I will erase this link. What is going on? Nothing is going on for some reason. Let me just think. The source should be assigned to somewhere, and we forgot to do that. Okay, the image component is here. The source is here. Nothing's being used for it. Node source. Now, remember where we on diagram trial? We said we don't need the property, but it seems we do. Source. Why don't we make no, let's leave it like this. I'll tell what I thought of. But instead of doing that, what I just thought of, we should definitely implement a proper loader. Text is here. Compilation. Compile. Oh, wonderful. Let me close the console. Why am I having it open? Maybe reading it on a canvas like this would be comfortable for readers. What do you think? Maybe that would not be a bad idea. Okay, let me add just a few more images just to show that it works. I mean, a few more nodes. Image is the same image, but it's fine. Where's the text in between? No, I don't have any text in between. That's why it didn't show up. Oh yeah, I really like this. Now I'm dragging the node instead of the canvas. Okay. And this is actually what a very basic compilation is. You have data in some form and you turn it into a different form. Now we will do something to load the images from hard drive instead of having them hard-coded like we have now. Instead of having the component state all inside the components themselves, it would be better to perhaps use the MVU pattern, but Blazor kind of makes it annoying to do that at the start, so we'll leave that for later as well. We need to do something like a file loader. I know I saw in the Madbox documentation, I mean in MadBlazer documentation. Madbox is some 3D art program. In the MadBlazer documentation, you know, it had something like file loader. FFFF. Form inputs, file upload. I don't think we want to upload. No, actually we do want the upload. We want upload pictures. We will restrict it to PNG and JPEG for now. We'll also want to paste from the clipboard. Oh, multiple files would also be good to have, but no. For a single node, we'd only want a single image rather than multiple ones. Mod file upload, mod template, button template. What is this button template? If we upload a picture here, what would happen? What should happen? No. This is R3. What's the load of frog? Oh, it's showing the file here. It's 405,422 bytes. Files, file set. Here is where it shows the file. Now, files count. I'm going to pause it a bit to study it. Okay, we understand that we need this iBrowser file to get a file. We'll figure out whether it works with URLs later. But for now, what sets it? Modfab. Let's just copy it into the IDE and then we'll figure out what all this does. Oh, file change, upload files. So this is what it calls when a file upload is made. It takes in an iBrowser file. I see. Okay. Node source. It has the name, but the name won't be enough. We need a full path. So in situations like this, I just browse through this and think about it. This part confuses me. This is let me read what it says. I'll pause. This is just a conversion function. We probably shouldn't be using it. Instead, okay, let's just try doing it like this, and we'll see what will happen. No, wait. Now, if I remember, there was file size bytes. It has file size. Okay, it has the size. No. Okay, let me pause here. I'll go through the MadBlazer documentation to figure out how exactly can we convert the uploaded file to an image in the component. Be right back. I'm back. I decided to ask the question of Bing and got a really interesting answer. Whoops, it should be Edge. Asked it this. Here's what I asked it. I just pasted this into Bing. Then I got this answer. To display an image in the browser after uploading it using MadBlazor's file upload component, you can use the MadImage component. You can bind the source attribute of the MadImage component to a property in your code that holds the URL of the uploaded image. Here is an example. Where is the URL? Here is what it bind. It's a string. Then it has this file. And this is pretty interesting. I didn't know it was possible to pass data to an image component like this. Let me read it. In this example, we have a mad upload component that accepts files of type iBrowser file. When a file is uploaded, we read its contents into a byte array and convert it to a base 64 encoded string. Then we set the value of the image URL property to this string. Then we bind the source attribute of the MadImage component to this property. I hope this helps. Yes, it does. Let's copy this. We'll copy. Oh, I'm getting dizzy from reading that. Yes, no. Image URL. Private string image URL. Uploaded files. Yeah, what? Let's comment this out. We don't need this here. No, yeah, this is a converter to base 64 string. And if we have something like a 3 megabyte image file, it will actually pump it all into that image URL. I think the base 64 format has a 20-30% loss, so it's not the ideal solution that I've been hoping for, but it's better than anything we could come up with on a short notice. Maybe there could be a solution where we upload an image to some kind of temporary file before passing it to the browser, but I'm not sure how to do that. I've never done that before. Let's just go with what we have. I'm not an English native speaker. I'm real good at writing, but at speaking it, not really. Yeah, it's initialized. Well, let's make it nullable. Let's just clean that. This. Test results. Is the total number of bytes read into the buffer? Okay, here we actually do need to read it all the way to the end, otherwise how could it display the image? But maybe there's a way to, upload it gradually. In that case, maybe passing in a task to the image URL in pieces somehow would make things easier. But let's ignore that for now. We are testing this locally. Upload files. What's the problem? iBrowser file. Yeah, it's expecting a list. I mean, why did it put a list and then just get the first file? That makes 0 sense. Oh yeah, node source. What do we do about that? Well, there isn't much we can do about that. Yeah, I guess we'll have in the future we'll have to implement two different ways of uploading images. One way will be through the iBrowser file like we are doing here. I mean through a direct upload like we are doing here. And another way would be pasting HTTP URLs. Does it compile? Well, I just press Ctrl Shift S to save everything. Now it will compile. Now we'll go into the browser. I opened some videos to check it out, how the other YouTubers do it, but that won't be necessary. Let's load picture. We'll pass in this frog, and wow, it works. This is before the high-res fix. It's not loading a second file after the first one has been uploaded. And now nothing is happening. How could this be? Let's try frog. Yeah, frog works. Let's try another frog. These are square images, 512 by 512. These are also PNGs. But if we load these, for some reason it doesn't work. Is there an exception maybe in the console? Oh yeah, we are exceeding maximum file size. I remember reading that in the file uploader documentation that we need to set this. Sorry about that. Maximum file count. Before we restart, can we actually select more than a single image? No, we can't. That's great. That's the behavior that I want. Oh, size. Maximum file count. Where is the size? Where did I see the size? I think I saw it in the when I decompiled this. Last modified file stream. Max allowed the size. It's 500 kilobytes. Now if we go back, open file stream. Let's make it something like 10 megabytes. 10 times. That's a lot bigger now. It should work. Oh, the frog works. And it changes the image. If we try a really big one, yeah, it shrinks it down. Good. If we try zooming in, no, we can't zoom in any more than this, unfortunately. Let's increase the zoom. I want to see whether after we zoom in we can see the full detail on the image. This, where should be this? This should be in the Hills diagram. There is the minimum zoom value. Let's set the maximum to something like, okay, 10. I'm not sure what the minimum is. I mean, what the maximum is. But if we decompile it, we should know, I think. It's 2. Okay, then we increased it by quite a bit. Let's save, recompile it. Oh yeah, I think this is a decent amount of detail. when I do this, am I moving the canvas or... Yeah, even if I press space to grab the canvas, even if I press space over this, it ends up moving it. We'll have to add some functionality so that doesn't happen, but it's fine. Okay, so we have file uploads. This was pretty painless. What should we do next? Let me think. Okay, I thought about it a little. There are various things we can refine, but since we are working on the image, why don't we work on it some more? And we may ask this of Bing. Instead of using base64, would there be a method that doesn't have overhead? Base64 has 33% overhead. I read that in Wikipedia just now. And Bing says, yes, there is a way to display an image without using base64 encoding. You can use the create object URL method of the URL object to create a URL for the uploaded file. Here is an example. In this example, we use the create object URL method of the URL object to create a URL for the uploaded file. We then use the while of the image URL property in this URL. Finally, we bind the source attribute of the mad image component to this property. I hope this helps. Yeah, it helps. Oh, what is this? URL create object URL, file open read stream, file size, image, PNG. You know, I'm kind of changing my mind whether that AIs won't take over programming jobs. If I was an AI and I had encyclopedic knowledge of all the APIs out there, that would be a big advantage. So I don't know. Well, their algorithms are too weak right now. There's no way backgroup propagation based algorithms will take over anything. But AIs do have an advantage innate to their nature. Sorry, I know that when I lean forward like this you can't see my mouth or anything, but the camera I have is kind of crappy and I can't set it better anymore. I can't set it better than this. I'll pause here so I can study this for a bit. Okay, I'm thinking about this. And I'm wondering whether this creates something like a physical file on the server before passing in an URL. It might be doing that. And if it does, then we'll want to know how long that file lasts on the server. Does it get rid of it later? How does that work? Let's paste this. That's the screencasting program. Where is everything? We'll comment this out. I think this is in some no create URL. Where is the system URL? Why isn't it offering? Let me just do a quick search for it. .NET URL. No, it's not this. .NET. I know I saw it in the core library somewhere. .NET system URL. Yes, system security policy. Is it this one? I don't think it's a security policy. It's something else. Maybe system web. Let me just pause a bit. Let's do it like this. Create object URL. .NET. It doesn't feel like it's making things up, but who knows. Let me pause again. I asked this question of Bing, where can I find the URL object? And then it says the URL object is a built-in object in JavaScript. You can use it in your Blazor application by calling the window URL property. Here's an example. It injects the JS runtime. Then it doesn't really call the window URL. It just calls this method on nothing. Then it passes in a bare file that definitely isn't something it should be doing. Okay, I'm a bit confused. Maybe it is making things up. Wait, it has some Stack Overflow images here. Let me pause here again. As a programmer, you'll be doing this kind of looking for information, this kind of mini research a lot. Okay, I can't really grasp anything from this on a quick read, but I don't think what we want is here anyway. Okay, let me give you my thoughts. When it says that the create object URL is a method on the URL JavaScript object, I mean URL object in JavaScript, it's telling the truth. It says that the URL lifetime is tied to the object in the window in which it was created. The URL blah 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 blah. Anyway, since this JavaScript method exists, yeah, there should be probably a Blazor binding for it somewhere. So let's do a search like this: Blazor URL create object URL. Let's click on this. Yeah, this is what we did. We can do better for high performance gain with unmarshaled calls. It's possible to do something like this. Use the platform to integrate. Let me pause a bit. This is JavaScript. Okay, we have JavaScript. There's the ideal API, and it should have been implemented. And let's just go to the end. File uploads. Okay, let's check this out. What? Why is it showing us the signal R message size limit? Where was that? Are the docs out of date? Blazor file uploads. Oh, these are file downloads. Download from a stream. So yeah, we could. I didn't think of this. We could in Blazor we can just do a script and then create our own function on the window object. Yeah, that could work. Personally, I'd prefer to just use some kind of method, C# method from a package. I'm not sure why why this is the example in the documentation. Now it's invoking JavaScript here. My God. I don't like any of these solutions. Well, let me pause again. There has to be some Blazor package we can just install from NuGet that will do what we want. This is idiotic. I can't make the frowny face. I had to pause for a bit, and I realized that next to file downloads, which I didn't like, there is a file upload section in the documentation. I'll pause again to read this. Okay, so we won't comment on this, but if you look at this a bit here, in the following examples, browser file represents the uploaded file and implements iBrowser file. This iBrowser file is the type we've been using so far, and this thing here. So we have it. And if we go read here, to read data from a user selected file, call iBrowser file open read stream on the file and read from the return stream. For more information, blah blah blah. Okay, maximum file size. If you need to access stream, use open read stream. Blah blah blah. It tells us not to do what we are doing because it would result in performance and security problems. But who cares about that for now? On the server of a hosted Blazor WebAssembly app or a Blazor server app, copy the stream directly to a file on disk without reading it into memory. Note that Blazor apps aren't able to access the client's file system directly. Yeah, this is something that we'd want to do. Another option is to upload files from the client directly to an external service. For more information, see the upload files to an external services section. Now this is something I'd be interested in. I mean, I made a whole video essentially showing how to convert a Google Docs document, export it as HTML, then rip all the images, sort them, then upload them to ImageGore. I mean, if I could do this would make uploading. Right now I'm putting the thing I have selected on the screen. If I could do this would make creating, this would make creating compilation outputs a lot easier, because instead of having to download a bunch of files, instead of having to download HTML plus a directory full of files on disk, the images in the Blazor diagram could be uploaded to some third-party service. Who knows? Maybe ImageGore has an API, but I've been just too web development illiterate to use it up to now. But we'll leave that for later. This is something I personally want to do. But this is but learning how to save it to disk and then pass it as an URL is something I want to learn how to do now. Okay, I like this approach. We just use a file stream to create a file, then we read everything into it. The only thing I'm not really sure how we'll get this path. I mean, maybe I'm wondering this. Can we put this somehow into IndexedDB? I don't know. This path, I mean, a WebAssembly app, does it even have files on a disk? How could we do this with Blazor WebAssembly? Can we even do it? Let me pause. Let's assume I found something good. Okay, this we ignore. There are a bunch of examples in this document, but this one is complicated. It's complicated. Skip this. This upload image preview. This is what we want. Here. This is. I think this is exactly what we want. Here it uses that URL create object URL to, create the URL based on the file data. But unlike what Bing gave us, here it also adds an event listener for when the element has loaded. And what it does is revokes the object URL. And it does it just once, I guess. I need to know. I think this is a JavaScript thing. I mean, so it only executes once. I forgot the exact details on why this is like that. And I guess Bing wasn't bullshitting us when it invoked just the bare create object URL file, this thing here. I think maybe the functions attached to the window object can be used without the window. Since it is like this. But I wonder, instead of touching it to the window like this, we could just make it a global function. Presumably, this will, in Blazor, this will have isolation, just like for a CSS. Okay, we'll first try it like this, and then we'll try making it a global function. It needs to be in a script tag. Script. Excellent. Oh yeah, this is just for the first file. What's this image element? Yeah, this is the. Well, we'll need to add a reference to the image, I think. Yeah, can we do that? No, we won't be able to do it without this. Let me think. Let's go with this after all. Okay. This is. Wait, it's supposed to be. It's passing image PNG into the cancellation token. Yeah, it was definitely hallucinating. Instead of adding it like this, let me just pause a bit to see if there are any events I can use instead. And I just like to call a function to create this object URL, and then call a function to dispose it separately from that. Load. Onload. Yeah, onload. Can I make it so that it only does it like in the JavaScript version, that is only triggers once? Let me pause so I can read this. Okay, I'm not sure how to do what I want, which is to use use a lot less JavaScript. So we'll just use this. Mad image, forget this. Forget this. Instead we'll use a reference. Mad image ref. I wonder what the type of this should be. Let's just make it an object for now. Oh, it's a task. How could it? Oh, let's try following what is shown here. We'll make it the element reference. Okay, maybe. If this was a regular image instead of a mad image, we could do it more easily. Let me pause again and I'll do some research. I found something interesting. Work with images in the ASP core laser. This is in the .NET documentation once again. And it shows us what we want to do here in a different way. Here is how we can stream the image data. It does the URL create object URL and revokes it. So maybe the regular onload would be enough. Let's just go with the regular approach. Onload. We'll do what we did previously. Onload. In the script, we'll window onload image. In fact, we don't need to do this. We can let's just inject the JS runtime. Inject JS runtime, or maybe it should be IJS runtime. JS, rename to JS. Okay. Then in onload, we don't need this. JS in all casing. It should be, I guess it should be void. It should be now revoke object URL, and it should be the image URL. What's this in all casing? I mean, what is this generic? This returns a value task. I see. We don't need this. This is a string, this is a string. Why is it complaining? Sorry, it should be invoke void async. I didn't see the void in the previous examples. Now when the image loads, it will just dispose whatever that URL create object URL did. We don't need this. Create object URL. Now JS invoke. Now this we might need to wait. I'm not sure. I'll just roll with it. String. Create object URL. File open read string. I'm just passing the buffer. Now, yeah, it can't convert it. I guess we'll have to await it. More URL. Or actually, what am I doing? We'll just put the wait here. Wait here. Yeah, this should be good. Why do we need this file size? We don't need it. File. We don't need a limit. We don't need this. Image URL. Okay, this is private. We can rename it. And this thing. Return value of the method. What is this trying to do? Yeah, we're probably doing this not in an efficient way. It shouldn't be opening Razor syntax thing. Instead, or maybe this is some kind of special .NET operator. I'm not sure at this point. Or file read file size read async. Is something to maybe there's something read to end. Read to okay, there's no need to read this only to await it. So we will use asynchronous read. Read buffer. Will this work? What's this return value? To pronounce into okay, I'm reading some stuff on the side on Stack Overflow as to what this return value is. This, if you are transferring data on the network, it might not end up reading all the way to the end. So, to make this completely proper, we have to return how many bytes are returned take care of that. But this is pretty complicated, so I don't want to bother with this right now. Await read async. Maybe you should throw an exception unless the file sizes match. Something like never mind that one. Never mind. I wasted enough time on this already. I'm not really sure whether this will. What the interaction, but if it reads, if it needs to read a megabyte and reads only half, will this unload the trigger or not? I'm not sure at this point. Let's just see whether everything works. Frog. It isn't loading. Create object URL. Oh, maybe it needs to be window. It's kind of weird. Yeah, just what is going on? How about we try doing this? Create. I'm sure it would call the function on the window. But as I said, it's not like I did this before. I'm getting exceptions again. Oh, this is so convoluted. Let's do a script, or maybe let me pause here. It's telling me that the script tags cannot be placed inside components because they can't be updated dynamically. Didn't know that. I'm just testing how to invoke something. This is like the hello world of JS interop in Blazor for me. Oh yeah, now it prints hello. Okay, great. But I have no idea why it's not, for example, like I can't call functions on a window. For example, let's we'll leave this as hello, and if we make this window hello, forgot the lambda. Oh, static reload of, hot reload of static file actually succeeded for this. What do you know? It isn't completely broken. It works. That's strange. I think it probably has a. Oh, now it complains that it cannot find hello. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. So then why isn't this working? I don't think I misspelled it. Oh, it should be on the URL object and not on the window object. Yeah, yes. Then how could we access that? Yeah, I don't think we can. Okay. I'll pause a bit so I can check out the Blazor JS interop in more detail. I've done something pretty stupid again. Let's get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. I'm sure that what I'm going to do now is going to work. Yeah, this. I have no idea what I was thinking when I put window here. It should be URL. Is it recompiling? Why isn't it recompiling? Oh, this is ridiculous. Let me pause. I passed the error message I get to Bing, and it's telling me it's not that we are calling the create object URL on the URL incorrectly, but that the buffer we are passing is not correct. This is interesting. I hadn't thought of this. I'm going to pause and make sure that it's not hallucinating. Okay, I will create these two helpers. And as you see, we do in fact get the same error. The overall... it makes sense. The overall resolution isn't the kind of error we'd get if we called an empty method on the URL object. So Bing is right. Bing is right. I'll give it that. Here's an thumbs up. Okay, we don't need this anymore. These two methods are not the problem. Instead, we need to figure out what this blob object is. So this... let me pause a bit. I want to... maybe we're going to have to create the helper methods just to convert these objects into blobs. Okay, we'll stop looking for shortcuts and just use the stuff here. First, we will be passing in the buffer. We'll pass in a stream, and neither this won't work either anymore. Instead, we'll have to go back and put in a helper. From stream. Let's do something like that. From stream. So it's distinct. Now, const. Oh, this is string. Blob. First we need to read it into an array buffer. Let's make it image stream. and it needs to be an async. Then it will read into a blob. Then we'll pass the blob into this. Then we just return the URL. And we don't need anything special for onload. After it loads, it will dispose the image. In fact, rather than just disposing it here, it may be also good to set it to null. Then null. Then, if it's not null, also get rid of it. Maybe. Wait, what was I doing? I meant. My god, what am I doing? Nothing is happening. Let's get rid of this. We had an easy solution with the base 64, and now we're trying to improve on it, and it's hell. Yeah, it loads. This, I wonder where it's stored. Blob. So this is blob storage. Oh, I didn't know the image files had the metadata right baked into them. This is good. Okay. But I bet if we... Let's open this. I'll load some more images, for example. We'll open this. And it will continue creating these blobs. Now, what if maybe dispose of them here? If this worked, this would be ideal. Maybe return, or maybe not. Wait, it's a value task instead of a regular one. File not found. Okay, let's not use that. Let's just yeah, this is a good solution. It loads it and then disposes of the blob. Okay, so this is yeah, this is good. I thought of maybe setting the image URL to null here, but that ensures that that the control itself cannot find it. So that's not good. Yeah, this is the way it should be done. I cannot think of anything better. I mean, I've been really worried about this because it might create an object URL without fully finishing loading, but I'm overthinking it. We've worked on this enough. This should be good as a solution. If it leaks memory, so be it. No, I'm not really serious about that. I really do want to understand it fully. Like when encountering something new, I typically really grind it so into the smallest pieces so I can understand what is going on. Now let's move on. This file shouldn't have a blob, but I wonder if it's possible to, for example, if you load an image, then we load it into the browser, then we try to save it. Can we actually do that? Let me save it, for example, here. Yeah, failed the network error. I mean, I read manga on MangaDex, and if this error also happens after a couple of after the page has been loaded for half a minute or something, and it drives me nuts because I cannot save the page, even despite this being in the browser memory. But it isn't really a problem at all. Let's talk a bit whether this is the right or not. If we go into the index and observe what is going on, it will turn this into an array buffer, and this will only resolve, I think, when it completely loads the image stream. Then it will turn it into a blob, and then it will create the object URL. So this cannot succeed without the image loading fully. And if it so we don't necessarily need to worry about disposing this object before it's fully loaded by the same token. The only thing I'm thinking about is what will happen if it tries revoking the object URL before the image is fully loaded. For example, what if we try to dispose of it twice? Will we get an exception? It loads, and then nothing bad happens in the console. So we don't have to worry about it. If it cannot dispose an object, nothing wrong will happen. Or if it tries disposing it more than once. Okay, this is good. We've been philosophizing a bit too much about loading images, but now you know how to do it. Okay, before we finish this, I want to show you guys something more. I've taken this function and extended it with a type. This is the content type. You can pass it into the blob like this. What does this matter? First, I've realized something. Let's uncomment this. We'll comment this out. Then we go back to the example. Now we have an image. We can try loading it. Let's go back to what we had previously, the frogs. Then if we try saving it, it will be as a regular download. I guess that's how you can know that something is in base 64, and it will save. If we, for example, comment this out, comment just this in, and comment this in. This will be what we had before. This disposes the blob image on load. This is the most memory efficient version of the way to implement the nodes. If you load the image, try to save it, we get a network error. Then If we just do it like this, this just disposes the image on start when a new image is loaded. This is supposed to be equivalent to what we had before. If you do it like this, the user will be able to load the images and save them. Because we have the content type, it will append that it will recognize that this is a PNG file, and it will allow it to save it like this. When I tried to do this previously before without the content type, it thought this was a text file. Yeah, this is pretty great. This is the way I want to implement this. There is no need to do it in base 64. We'll go with this version because when we try to save the diagram to disk, we want the files to be somewhere. We can't. If they are in the browser renderer, we won't be able to get them. So this is the best kind of compromise that I can think of. We'll get rid of this. And this is great. As far as I'm concerned, we are done with the image loading part. Now what we have to do is figure out maybe how to copy paste them from web URLs. We'll do that next. Okay, let's do it from an URL next. What we'll do is just take the URL in the clipboard and use it as the image URL. We'll add another button here. I really wish they could be. Let's use a mat container. I think con driver prop input control mat. Whoops, I meant to press enter. I put it in a container. Now let's use a mat button. Oh, class maybe primary button. We'll have to look into the mad Blazor docs for this. Button, where's the button? Here's the button. Let's go with the default. Copy from clipboard. I wish there was an icon for clipboard. Icon class. I wonder if there's somewhere an icon somewhere here. I wonder if there's somewhere here where I can find the list of icons. Oh, here's the icon reference. Clipboard. Let's try clipboard. Clip. No, I can't find anything. I'll figure it out on my own later. I won't bore you with this. But I can't imagine you still being around for this. I mean, the other video had some pretty great music. But here, just listening to me talk. I can't imagine this being more interesting than that. Yeah, we just need to style. No, not the style. Is it fixed? Not the fixed. Style, maybe flex row. flex row. And let's try it normally. If it doesn't work, we'll put in a row, flex row style. Yeah, it doesn't work like I want. Style, flex, no, flex direction. Flex direction is what we need, then a row. And I see, yeah, it needs a while to recompile. And it didn't do anything. Maybe we need a class. Flex box, flex, grow, flex shrink, flex direction. Oh, flex row. When I click on it, it automatically selects everything. That's pretty good of it. I think the reason it isn't working here is because the styles get overwritten. It's kind of weird. You'd expect the styles to be obeyed always, but it isn't the case. For some reason, it will consider the class as the primary. Oh, it didn't work. Oh my god. Okay, let's check out the container. Fixed. So it isn't that. We're using the wrong thing here, obviously. Well, what should we be using for in Blazor to just store items in a row? I'll pause here and come back with the answer. Okay, I asked Bing, and in it recommended me this mat stack, the mat stack. Let's check it out here. Stack, where is the stack? Oh, here it is. Okay, I like the mat stack. Mad stack. It should have direction. Where is the direction? I should really just switch to edge. Maybe I will. Row, true. Okay, let's see it. Oh, this is great. If only it would put the picture on one end and the copy from clipboard on the other. I'd also prefer some space between the image and the buttons. I think maybe align items or maybe justify. We'll see. Space between. Okay, let's space between. Let's try this. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, the frog still loads. Okay, yes. Okay, this button does absolutely nothing just now. Right now. What we'll do is give it an on click. On click. And then we'll create a method on copy from clipboard. We'll also rename this to on upload files. Then we'll do something with this. I'm not sure what. Now we'll have to figure out how to get something from the clipboard for Blazor. Okay, how do I get the URL from the clipboard in Blazor? This is interesting. We'll give it a try. Var URL. Async task. JS. Okay, this should give us a string. Now we'll get rid of this. And we'll make it the URL. Actually, let's do image URL. We'll save. Now let's go to Imgur. I don't like any of this. Let's go for my own. Actually, let's copy image address. Copy from clipboard. Yes, allow it. Oh, I need to load. Oh, this is pretty nice. My masterpiece. And this was generated using the Anything v3 model, Stable Diffusion model. It's a Stable Diffusion model that I used while I was working on Simulacrum Heaven's Key. Unfortunately, it was only for the last published chapter. At that time, I didn't actually know how to upscale the images properly. So, okay, for the chapter 16, I did figure that out, but I only used the tiled upscaler, not the latent one, which is better. Still, these images are beautiful. I honestly think that Stable Diffusion right now is probably the best artist in the world. These diffusion models in general are. At some point, I want to go to this and figure out how to do painting by words in Stable Diffusion. This would give me a level of control that I didn't have previously. So I could really just say which section is the hill, which section is the city, which section is the sky, and this would allow me to do some really powerful art. But let's take everything one at a time. Copying. Now we have copy from clipboard. But what if inside the clipboard we have some garbage? For example, QEM. Well, I'll select it all and press Ctrl C. Then I'll copy from clipboard and I get garbage. Yeah. It tells me there's nothing at that address. So it would be great if I could verify whether the data in the clipboard is an URL. Let's ask Bing how to do that. Oh, this is worth trying. Okay, let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. Let's think about it a bit. URI result. Okay, we'll make it. I thought that it might be good to maybe take in paths from the disk as well, but we don't need that. We have the file uploads for that. Copy URL from clipboard. Then we'll var URL is URL sorry, I'll do it like this. Then if is URL wait, what was I doing? Something ridiculous. Yeah, this should be a URL. Then yeah, this should be getting rid of the old one, and this should be setting it to the new one. Great. Let's give this a try. Today's programming session makes me realize something, that my old methods of looking up things manually on the internet aren't the best ones anymore. Okay, there's no need to do that. Let's just copy it from the clipboard. Yeah, this works. This should work. Shouldn't it work? Yeah, nothing is happening. This is HTTPS, but it's looking for maybe HTTP just. Ah, I see. Let's do it like this. No, not like that. Let's make this a static. What is this? Is this a string? Yeah, it's a string. String array. And need allowed URI schemas. Then HTTPS. Do we want something else in addition? What kind of schemas can there be? Schema files, FTP, FTPs. Yeah, why not use a file? We can also have a file. We can also make it, I don't know, maybe FTP, so I can't imagine using that. Now we'll allow the URI schemas exists any. In F# we would be using array exists, but here we would be using any. This is a link method that's equivalent to it. Then Is this kind of comparison good for comparing strings? I'm not sure. Maybe you need equals. Yeah, we should get into the habit of using equals. This should also probably be read-only, and maybe yeah, this is great. I mean, it's probably less efficient to put them in a read-only array, but maybe the C# compiler would optimize something like this. I don't see why it wouldn't. Maybe if we set into something like an immutable array, read-only array or list. String. What a pain, yes. Okay, let's just make it an array. Who cares? Then let's try loading it from imageure once more. Imageure. Yeah, now it works. Great, now we can load the images from clipboard. This is a great solution. Okay, let's go for the final stretch of the video. I think if we try compiling this, it won't work at the moment. This is because we've been using a private variable for the image URL, and yeah, this the compile node is using the original one. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to tab into that. That's DaVinci Resolve. Instead, we need to make the URL the image URL. We'll get rid of image URL, and instead of that, it should be node source. Everywhere we have the image URL, we should be using node source. Yeah, it should be in here as well. If we paste from clipboard, it will load it from imageure. Then if we press compile, yeah, now we get the image in its full size. We can compose this with some text notes. Hello. Reconnecting the nodes like this is really annoying. If you try doing this in Houdini or Blender, it would help you reconnect it would do what I'm doing here manually. All you need to do is just drag the node, and it would disconnect the original one and connect the two ends in the middle. Bye. Okay, we have the flow here, and we go bio. I'm going to type bye. Okay, and with this, we're done. We now have compilation with the image nodes. If we wanted to, we could add something like a save button, and it would maybe at the end here, and it would and we could use it to save all this as into HTML. It would be pretty great. We could add maybe some Maybe some kind of different button, not on this tree, but some kind of button, where if we connected it, we could use it to upload all the images to something like Imager or maybe Azure, and we'd have concrete persistent links that we could use for later. It could also, for example, replace all the images here with the images in that storage, and this could be pretty useful for doing something like making web novels. Right now, I'm just thinking what we should do next. As far as the image nodes are concerned, I've succeeded in all my goals. At the start of this video, I absolutely had no idea how the images could be loaded from something like the clipboard or a file, and then put into something like an image URL or a blob. Now that I know this, I feel like I've gained a lot as a programmer. In the future videos, in the very future video after this one, I want to be able to save all these diagrams to disk. Right now, when we reset it like this, we get a blank slate. And this is not something we can work with realistically. Once we get the ability to save the diagram to disk and reload it back, we'll actually have something that could be significantly useful. We'll also get rid of these menu items and replace it with something better. We'll do that in the next video. Please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment what you think about the video in this format where I talk to the camera myself instead of leaving it to Ilo. And watch the next video. That will be great. See you soon.